Hey everybody, Shane here, Shoebox Legends, back with another Fab 4 response video from my good buddy Adam over at Splendid Sports here on YouTube. He's doing a string of these videos and I'm really loving the concept. The basic idea is, for players that he really appreciates but aren't his main focus in his collection, he's trying to develop like a 4-card graded card page in a binder dedicated to that player. Just 4 of his favorite or most significant cards of that player. And he opened this up and said anyone who wants to play along on their channel or with their own collection to feel free. So I did the first one for Roberto Clemente a bunch of videos back now, and I really enjoyed that. And I found that I'm digging this concept big time. It really, really applies to how I've approached my collection over the last few years. I've gotten out of set building and player runs, complete player runs and things like that. And I'm trying to focus on exactly this, just having a few cool or significant cards to represent these players. So without further ado, that's enough with the intro here. The second player that Adam has laid down the gauntlet for is Stan Musial. And I don't have the best collection of his in the world by any means. There's not going to be a rookie card in today's video, but I was able to find 4 Stan the Man cards in my own personal collection that I stand by as my favorites and my selections for the challenge. So let's get rolling here. And the first one is actually one of the 4 that Adam chose as well. And I think it's an obvious choice for this exercise if you own a copy of this card. And that is his 1958 Topps All-Star issue. So I love, these are the first ever All-Star cards in a Topps release, first All-Star subset. The American League players got red backgrounds. The National League, like Stan here, got the bright blue with those white stars. I think they really just aesthetically, they look beautiful. At one point, I'd collected this entire subset, all in PSA 6 grades, long time ago, many years back when I was just getting back into the hobby. And in the time since, I kind of came to realize that those weren't all the condition that I'd want, even though they were PSA 6. So I actually sold that complete 58 Topps All-Star set off about 1.5 to 2 years ago, and used the proceeds from that to reinvest in some cards for my collection that I liked better. And in the end, I found a much nicer copy of this Stan Musial graded just a PSA 5. So 1 grade lower than what I owned previously, but in my own opinion, looks actually much, much better. So really pleased with that. And it's a good example of, something I do frequently, which is like downgrade my cards. If I have higher grade cards that I bought a while back and I don't really appreciate as much anymore, I'll look for a cleaner example in a lower grade like that and use the extra funds to pick up something else for the PC. And obviously, also of note, that's the first Topps card for Stan Musial. There are not any Topps cards that exist of him. He was with Bowman only prior to this, throughout the late 40s and through the mid 50s, and even into the late 50s. So first Topps card of Stan the Man, first All-Star subset in the history of Topps, and just a beautiful looking card. So an obvious choice there, and one that Adam chose as well, as I mentioned. Next up is the only other graded card. So I have 2 graded, 2 non-graded in this video. And this is one that I picked up within the last 6 months. And again, it was an example of me changing out parts of my collection. So I sold my 1967 Topps Mickey Mantle card because I'm just not the biggest fan of that image or of that card. And I used the proceeds to land this, the 1952 Bowman Stan Musial. And as I said moments ago in reference to the 58 All-Star, he was in Bowman only as far as major product releases, throughout the late 40s from his rookie card in 1948 through the lifetime of Bowman. So we have this 52 here, which is beautiful. I'm a total sucker for these cards, especially 50 through 52 Bowman. These colorized images, I love these. Never in a million years thought I would own this card as a kid. I had a handful of 52 Bowman Commons, but it's just a gorgeous card. The color is sharp and vibrant. It's an SGC2, which is how I was able to effectively trade a 67 Mantle for it, which is a much more common card than this one, but I'm really, really happy with it. One of my favorite pickups from last year. And this exercise from Adam was the perfect opportunity to dust it off and show this one off again here on the channel. So the 52 Bowman is my second of 4 choices. Let me just get this guy situated. And then my last two cards are going to be ungraded. And the last card is actually going to be a super cheap one that I picked up specifically so that I could do this video. I felt like I was kind of one card short on Musial. So when Adam put his video out, hit up eBay and found a really cheap card to round out my 4. But before we get to that, here's one that I picked up a long while back, and it's not exactly cheap now, I would imagine. It's an autographed card, and I don't have a Clemente auto, so I didn't include an autograph when I did my Fab 4 the first time around. But in this case, I have this 2005 Upper Deck Baseball Heroes Stan Auto on card. This is the Emerald Parallel, numbered to 99, which you can see in the lower left there. And I've talked about this release many times, but this really hits home for me, and I've purchased quite a few of the autographs from this set just because the design, you know, takes me back to those Upper Deck inserts from the early 90s when I was a kid in the hobby. You know, Hank Aaron, Ted Williams, Nolan Ryan, all those guys were done on these Baseball Heroes inserts. So in 2005, Upper Deck did an entire set in this design and included these wonderful on-card autographs. And this one here, as you can see in the upper right, pays tribute to Stan getting his 3,000th career hit. Great photograph, and I think it's a very appropriate card because that's really what he was known for, being one of the best hitters in the history of the game. Of course, he exceeded 3,000 hits by a wide margin. He achieved it in 1958, as you can see on this card, but he was in the league, you know, well beyond that. And I think he finished with like 3,600 and change, somewhere around there. But yeah, this is my only Stan Musial auto. Don't really see myself chasing another. I don't need another. One is plenty, and I thought it was a very worthy contribution to the Fab 4 of Stan in my collection. So there's the 3,000 hit autograph. And then we're going to finish it with the cheap one. This might be anticlimactic to some, but I think it's a good example of, you know, what I'm always saying, I feel like, which is that you don't need to spend a lot of money to have fun in the hobby. Even the 3 cards you see in front of you, these 2 were well under $100, and I think they were well under $50 each at the time that I purchased them. And this card I actually picked up for $3, $2.99 specifically after Adam put his video out because I really wanted a 4th card that was a little better than what I had. And this is a modern card from Top Stadium Club a couple of years ago now. I think it's the 2019 release of Stan Musial, of course. And this is the red foil because I just figured, you know what? If I'm going for this card to represent Stan in my Fab 4, I might as well go for a parallel that is team color matching. And of course, you know, the Cardinals are known for that color red. And so the average base version of this card would have just silver foil for his name, team, and the Stadium Club logo here. But this is the very appropriate red foil. And of course, this one's just all about the fun image. I'm really on a path this year in the hobby to help illustrate that post-playing era cards are every bit as cool as playing era cards. And I think this is another example of that. Like, what an amazing image of Stan and Bob Gibson participating in some bizarre stretching pregame warm-up routine or spring training stretching here. I just love it. You can tell these guys are just having a blast, smiling at the camera, and it's just something that you don't ever see or typically see on a baseball card. You know, all the other cards up in the background here are more representative of what you normally see, you know, portrait shots or those classic batting poses. So I thought to round out my top 4, something really fun like this would be appropriate. And so it may sound crazy, but this $3 card is right there and qualifies as a top 4 favorite Stan Musial card in my collection. And it's the final addition to today's video as such. And that's going to be a wrap. So once again, I'm having an absolute blast doing this, Adam. I really hope you keep these coming, and I'm loving playing along. And I hope some of you out there will consider doing the same. You don't have to have high-end cards to do this. The whole idea is putting your own perspective on it and showing the cards in your collection that you happen to own for whatever reason. So you could do a Fab 4 on Stan Musial where all 4 cards came out of a quarter box at your local hobby shop or a card show, and do this episode with $1 worth of cards. And it will still be every bit as interesting as if you had his, you know, 48 Bowman rookie and a bunch of other vintage playing era cards. So again, definitely check out Adam's video. as well as the one on Roberto Clemente, if he interests you. I really, really dig this concept, Adam, and looking forward to the next one. In the meantime, I appreciate everybody stopping by, and I hope you're all enjoying the hobby. Take care.